If you like movies, love learning English, and you also want to understand a little more about American pop culture, well then this lesson is for you. Hey everyone, my name is Wes. This is Interactive English, which is all about helping you practice and improve your English skills. And today I want to talk to you about some famous movie one-liners, some movie quotes that have gone beyond the films from which they have come to become embedded in American pop culture. So these are movie quotes that are easily recognizable, especially in the United States, but I think that they're pretty well known throughout the world because the movies that I'm going to talk to you about are pretty famous. So you can use these quotes in everyday conversation if you happen to find yourself in a particular situation and the quote is relevant, or you can use them just for fun to see if other people can recognize the quote and the movie that it came from, which again is part of your cultural understanding of the language, but it also adds value to your overall English fluency. So the first quote that I have for you is, "We're not in Kansas anymore." And this quote comes from the famous movie, The Wizard of Oz. Now, The Wizard of Oz was originally a book, which was also pretty famous, but I think the quote really became popular after the movie. And Dorothy says this to Toto once they arrive in Oz, and she says, well, we're not in Kansas anymore. We are in a strange and unknown place.
I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
So you can actually use this quote if you find yourself in a strange and unknown place and you're with another person who also thinks the place is strange, and you can say, you know, hey, we're not in Kansas anymore. I don't know about this place. It's strange. It's unknown. We're not in Kansas anymore.
Where are we? Well, we're not in Kansas anymore.
Bells ringing, money flowing. We are certainly not in Kansas anymore.
You are not in Kansas anymore. You are on Pandora, ladies and gentlemen.
Then there is another famous quote from this movie, and that is, "There's no place like home. There's no place like home." This quote comes from the end of the movie when Dorothy is clicking those slippers together and she wants to return home and she really misses home and says, "There's no place like home. There's no place like home."
There's no place like home.
Once again, this is a quote that you can use in everyday conversation if you want to express that same feeling and capture that emotion. If you are away from your home, maybe you've been traveling for a long time and you really miss it and you are thinking about it, you could say, you know, yeah, there's no place like home.
Yes, it's true. There's no place like home.
There's no place like home. There's no place like home.
Then we have this quote right here. "Go ahead, make my day."
Go ahead, make my day.
Now that was a terrible Clint Eastwood impression. I'm sorry about that, but this quote comes from the movie Dirty Harry, and Clint Eastwood says this, "Go ahead, make my day." It's like he's asking them to react so that he can react. And that's what this quote means, that you hope that another person continues with the action that they're doing so that you can react and do something else that might give you pleasure. This is a quote that you may hear in other TV shows or movies, and they may say it to reference this movie, this particular quote. But again, you can use it if you find yourself in that situation and it's like you want to dare the person to continue doing whatever it is they're doing, and you say, "Go ahead, make my day."
Okay, go ahead, punk. Make my day.
Go ahead, make my day.
Next is the quote, "Say hello to my little friend." And this, maybe you don't recognize it by the way that I just said it there, but it comes from the movie Scarface. And this was a popular gangster movie from a long time ago. And he says, "Say hello to my little friend," when he's getting ready to fire a missile launcher and actually kill some people.
Say hello to my little friend.
This is a quote that probably you're not going to say it. At least I hope you wouldn't say it and be firing some kind of gun or weapon at somebody else. But it is something that you may come across in other TV shows or movies. So if you do hear it, then you know where it came from. It came from the movie Scarface. Now, this is a movie that I have actually never seen, but I've just growing up in the United States, I was very familiar with this quote because you just hear it from time to time. It's just a part of pop culture.
Say hello to my little friend.
Say hello to my little friend.
Say hello to my little friend.
Then we have, and this is one of my favorite quotes, and it is, "I'll be back. I'll be back." This is my Terminator impression, and it's a very bad Arnold Schwarzenegger impression. I apologize, but this quote comes from the movie Terminator, and he says, "I'll be back," saying, you know, he's going to return.
I'll be back.
So when you think about these quotes and one-liners and about how you can use them as a learner, this is a great way to practice shadowing and practice your pronunciation, your intonation, your emphasis, and try to capture that emotion by repeating the phrase the exact same way that you hear it in the movie.
I'll be back. And I am back.
And the reason I say that you could try it with this one is because this is a popular quote that people will try to say, mostly because it's recognizable. So if you find yourself in that situation where you are going to return to some place and you're just letting the people know, you could have a little fun with it and say, you know, I'll be back. I will return, I will come back. But again, you have to say it like that. I'll be back.
I'll be back.
Another popular quote is, "You can't handle the truth." And this comes from the movie A Few Good Men. This is another good one when you think about shadowing, and people would try to say it the same way Jack Nicholson did in the movie. "You can't handle the truth."
You can't handle the truth.
So if somebody's trying to get you to confess, to tell the truth, you can just tell them, "You can't handle the truth," and do your best Jack Nicholson impression. And again, this is great for shadowing. It is a wonderful way to actually practice your spoken English. You can't handle the truth.
Working on my Jack Nicholson. You can't handle the truth.
You want the truth? You want the truth? You can't handle the truth. You can't handle the truth.
Now, how about you? You give it a try right now. Say it just like that. You can't handle the truth. I'll wait. Okay, all right, that wasn't bad. Shadowing is a great way to practice your speaking skills. And if you did this, if you participated, let me know. In the comments, just write, "You can't handle the truth." That way, I know that you are actually practicing your speaking skills, which is what interactive English is all about. Then we have the quote, "Houston, we have a problem." Now, this quote comes from the movie Apollo 13, which was actually based off of the real-life event, the real-life space mission Apollo 13, which went wrong up in space, and that is what was said. They called down to NASA, which is located in Houston, and they said, "Houston, we have a problem." The movie was made many years later. It was very popular, but I really think it was like a resurgence of this quote, and it really brought it back into the mainstream, and it is something that's very common in American pop culture.
Houston, we have a problem.
Now, this is a quote that can be used to talk about a variety of problems or issues if you have to tell somebody, and even if they're not in Houston, it really doesn't matter. You could just say, you know, "Oh, Houston, we have a problem."
Houston, we have a problem.
Houston, we have a problem. That catering company only has a hard copy of the employee manifest.
Hey, honey.
Houston, we have a problem.
What's up?
Funny you should ask.
Pam, DEFCON 10. Houston, we have a problem.
What do you want me to do?
I may need some immediate assistance.
Next it's another one of my favorite quotes, probably because I really enjoy this movie, and that is, "Oh, Captain, my Captain." And this quote comes from the movie Dead Poets Society. If you haven't seen it, it's a great movie. I highly recommend you check it out. But the quote itself comes from a poem by Walt Whitman, and that poem is a bit of an analogy referencing the death of Abraham Lincoln. Now, I think the meaning, "Oh, Captain, my Captain," is kind of showing respect and reverence to the leader. And in this case, maybe the reason I like the movie so much is because it talks about teaching. It's about a teacher and his students. And the students would stand up on the desk, "Oh, Captain, my Captain," kind of showing that respect, their admiration for the teacher.
"Captain, my Captain."
Sit down, Mr. Anderson. You hear me? Sit down.
"Oh, Captain, my Captain."
And I think it's every teacher's dream, especially if they have seen this movie, to think that, oh, one day I hope the students are all standing on their desk saying, "Oh, Captain, my Captain," and really showing that respect. But unfortunately, it's never happened to me. The students have never said to me, "Oh, Captain, my Captain." They've said some other things to me, and sometimes, it hasn't been very nice. And then that's when I would tell those students, yeah, come on, keep it up. Go ahead, make my day. But this movie quote, it's become a part of American pop culture, but it's not something that may get thrown around in everyday conversation, unless you are really referencing a leader and you're trying to reference the movie while showing respect and admiration. You'd say, oh, Captain, my Captain, we will follow you, we will listen to you.
Oh, Captain, my Captain.
You're our number one, remember? Oh, Captain, my Captain.
Hey, nope. What?
Been a long time, eh, Captain? Or Captain? Oh, Captain, my Captain!
Oh, congratulations! Sorry. My Captain! Oh, Captain, my Captain. Rise up and hear the bell.
Then there is another quote from this movie, and that is Carpe Diem. Now, this is a Latin phrase, but the movie, I think, really made it a lot more popular. And it taught many people, like me, it taught me what this phrase meant. Because before I saw the movie, I did not know that Carpe Diem meant seize the day. Take advantage of every moment and really try to seize the day and live life to the fullest. Carpe Diem.
Who knows what that means? Carpe Diem. That's seize the day.
And for the first time, I'm gonna do it, whether my father wants me to or not. Carpe Diem!
So this phrase is a big part of the movie, talks a lot about that. Carpe Diem, seize the day.
What if I never feel this way again? Carpe Diem. You told me that one. Fish of the day. Not carp, carpe.
For those of you who are new, the motto of this class, Carpe Diem, seize the day.
Next is the quote, "It's alive! It's alive!" And maybe you recognize it. This quote is from the movie Frankenstein, when Dr. Frankenstein has his creation come to life and he's yelling, "It's alive!
It's alive! Oh, it's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
So this is, it's another quote that is easily recognizable, and you could use it also to reference the movie, but you could use it in a situation in which maybe you're trying to build something and create something, and you're testing to see if it works. And if it works, then you could say, "It's alive," in reference to the movie, but also acknowledging that, yes, your creation works. Good job.
It's alive! It's alive! It's moving! It's alive!
Then we have the quote, "I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse."
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
And that is my Marlon Brando impression, and that quote comes from the movie The Godfather. Now, there are so many great quotes that come from the movie series The Godfather. If you haven't seen it, I suggest you check it out. So this quote has become very well known in American pop culture, and you could use it depending on the situation that you find yourself in. If you want somebody to do something for you and you're going to make them an offer so that they'll do it, you could say, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse, or I'm going to make them an offer they can't refuse, and reference this Godfather quote.
Let me make you an offer that you can't refuse.
You crazy?
No, I'm serious, man. Look, you take the match.
Man, just so we're on the same page here, you saying we make him an offer he can't refuse?
I made a sheikh in Abu Dhabi an offer he could not refuse.
Another popular quote, I told you there are so many from The Godfather, is this one, "Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer." Now, this is a quote that did not originate with The Godfather. Many people credit it to Sun Tzu, who is a famous Chinese military general, and that was a long time ago. So this quote, this expression has been around for a long time, but The Godfather really put it into the mainstream.
My father taught me many things here. He taught me in this room. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
And I think it's easily recognizable because of The Godfather. The movie is so well known. People will think of the movie when they hear this quote. Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
Keep your friends close. Keep your enemies closer.
No, here at the palace, you gotta keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
Friends close, keep your enemies closer. Like you said.
Gus can't kill you because of me. He knows I won't stand for it.
Then we have the quote, "May the Force be with you." And I'm sure for many of you, as soon as you heard the word Force, you may know that I'm talking about Star Wars. This is a movie quote that is said many times throughout Star Wars. There's many different Star Wars movies, and I think it's repeated in many of them. May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
And man your ships, and may the Force be with you.
Anakin, may the Force be with you.
Obi-Wan, may the Force be with you.
That's a fun one. I think many people get that because Star Wars is just so well known throughout the world.
Embrace who you are, Tracy Jordan. May the Force be with you always.
It's May the 4th. May the 4th be with you. Force be with you. Get it?
Oh no, this face wasn't because I didn't get it.
Then we have, "You talking to me? You talking to me?" This quote comes from the movie Taxi Driver, and Robert De Niro really made this quote what it is. It's a part of American pop culture, and people associate this quote with the movie Taxi Driver. Again, this is another movie that I haven't seen. It's a very well-known and popular movie, but I've always been very familiar with this quote because I've heard it in other TV shows, other movies, and people may say it jokingly when they want to reference that movie and that character. "You talking to me?
You talking to me? You talking to me? Well, then who the hell else are you talking? You talking to me?"
It's a quote that is kind of confrontational, so it's not one that I would say, hey, go out and use this one. If somebody's saying something to you that's not nice, that's mean, maybe they're calling you a name, you could, "Are you talking to me? You talking to me?"
You talking to me? That's my De Niro, no good?
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Next is the quote, "Nobody puts baby in the corner." And this quote comes from the movie Dirty Dancing. It's another quote that's become pretty well known in American pop culture, and it refers to somebody being, kind of cast aside, forgotten about, that they've been put in the corner. And he says it in reference to the main character who's been put in the corner, and he says, "Nobody puts baby in the corner," and he takes her out of the corner, and then they do this big dance at the end.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Now, this is a quote that you may hear that references the movie, but people will take out baby and they will substitute another person's name in there instead. A person who has been kind of cast aside, forgotten about, and you want to say, no, we need to acknowledge this person. We need to recognize them. Nobody puts him in the corner. Nobody puts her in the corner. Nobody puts Wes in the corner. At least I hope they don't.
Nobody puts baby in a corner.
Always blows my mind how much Daddy looks like Patrick Swayze in this movie.
You know why else? Nobody puts Jay in the corner.
Picture he's trying to back me into a corner.
Nobody puts baby in a corner, sir.
Nobody puts baby in a corner. I do, because I'm her father and she's 16. What are you, like 38?
41.
So now I'm going to make you an offer that you can't refuse, all right? I will continue to create new and exciting English lessons, but you got to hit that like button. Go ahead and hit that like button if you learn some new movie quotes, because if you don't hit the like button, I'll feel like you're putting me in the corner, and nobody puts Wes in the corner, all right? Thank you guys so much for watching. May the Force be with you, and I will see you next time. So long. I'll be back. That's true. I will be back very soon with another lesson.